All right, guys, so we're recording right now. I'm very excited about this interview in particular. I was just telling, this is Keli Hammond with me. I never know what way to point because every time I point, it's like the Brady Bunch. I never know what to say. But I was just telling Keli, I was reading all about her last night, and I was just so unbelievably impressed and just truly just really honored that she, didn't mind taking time today to chat with us and also to share her story. You really are, you're a force. So this is Keli Hammond.
Thank you.
I'll let you two tell a little bit more about yourself, but I mean, just, very quickly, and we're talking author, speaker, truly a marketing pioneer. I'm so excited to be talking to you about, how you got started. And, I think, and everyone in this group that, we're all trying to identify our brands and figure out ways to market ourselves. And sometimes, we as the individuals are that brand. So thank you so much for being here. But yeah, can you tell us, how did you start off? How did you get into all of this?
So that's everyone's number one question. I actually majored in this field and then wasn't sure that I was going to stick with it, but it ended up being, I don't know, I think my blessing and something that is kind of ordained in me. And so I just stuck with it. I went to Temple University in Philly, graduated with a degree, a BA in advertising.
Okay.
So advertising is actually just one component of marketing. And so my dream at that time, I really wasn't sure what my dream was, but I thought that I wanted to do commercials and stuff.
Okay.
But I ended up coming back to DC, and in DC you don't do commercials. That's not that's not a thing. You have to be in New York to do it, and it's those huge conglomerates, right?
Right.
So so I was like, okay, there weren't any quote unquote advertising jobs. Okay. So I went and did I went and looked for marketing, which was everywhere. And marketing, and that was kind of how I was introduced to it literally 15 years ago, right? So for the entire duration of my career, I've only done this.
Wow.
And so as I've done it, I've gotten better. I've been so lucky to have worked with so many different groups and so many different large corporations, startups, everything in between. And then won a couple awards, which was really cool. And it's good because I was actually able to take the award. So I've won companies that I worked for in organizations. I've won them awards that they kept, right. Which is awesome. But to be able, good for them, right? But it's awesome to be able to have two of them for me, myself,
right.
Because it just kind of shows when you work hard for something that you've really been appreciated and celebrated for it in some realm.
Right.
That was cool.
Now, tell me this, what for you has been the biggest thing? Because I really do think what does set you apart is that you have been doing this for 15 years and you've seen so much change come along. For you, is there, what are some pivotal things that you really, as a marketing expert, have looked at and said, wow, this is a game changer. And now truly brands and companies really need to stop and take stock in this and really realize what the future has in store.
Right. So I don't like to date myself. But when I first got into this field, social media wasn't a thing, right? It wasn't a thing.
Can you imagine that?
It didn't exist. At all. And I think, to kind of see how social media has kind of come on the scene and just changed the game. It's literally changed the game. And so now you're able to connect with and collaborate with people from all over the world. And literally that's the holy grail.
Yeah.
If you're looking to build a brand, don't forget about that social piece. And you don't have to be, and the one thing that that I really want people to know is that you don't have to have 1 million followers. You don't have to have 1 million followers to create a successful brand that you can monetize, that you can profit from, that you can grow your opportunities from. It's not about that at all. That's cool. And and that's one sector of social media marketing is that influencer piece. Right. And everyone kind of oh, do I need to be an influencer? No.
Right.
Not at all. You can aspire to be that, and being an influencer is very hard. But there are different levels. There's a micro influencer and a macro influencer, and there are all of these different things that you can do. But influencer aside, you can still create this huge, enormous, impactful, or whatever you want, impactful brand that helps support you, that you can sustain and grow as you grow.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me this, and this is the exciting thing. So you're releasing your first book in April.
I am. I have a copy of it right here.
Oh, can you show us? tell us. So it's called, everybody, Crave, the secret sauce to building a highly successful standout brand. That's the book right there she's holding up. I'm so excited for you. I love the cover. Let me tell you.
Thank you so much. This is a proof copy. So me and my team are going through it right now and just making sure that it's literally perfect.
Right.
And so I'll just give you guys like a quick there's quick tips in it. There's examples. There is, at the back, this is like one of my favorite things.
I love it. I love the chair on the front cover too.
Thank you so much. The back has a section called applying. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep. Yeah, right there. Yep.
Applying the lessons of this book to your brand.
Yep.
And it gives you literally 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or maybe 10. I don't know. A lot of pages.
a lot
of pages that you can take and apply your personal situation and your personal brand and whatever you're looking to become or seek to transform into.
Right.
Take it and write down all of the learning from the book into the back to help you start to craft that brand.
Oh, I love that. So why did you need to write this book? Because I always kind of felt that if what you need is not out there, you should do it. So
I didn't see it. I didn't see it out there. Right. And at first I was really intimidated with the whole author thing. I was like, oh my God, can I do it? Even having been in this field for so long, you're like, this is a big undertaking. And it was a huge undertaking. This is a 300-page book, so
this is a baby. This is truly, I mean, you birthed this baby.
I birthed this baby.
That's amazing.
Thank you. The reason why it was so important for me to write this book, so it actually started out as a pamphlet or a handout for one of my clients, because it was a new client that couldn't afford to kind of work with me in an intense form.
Right.
Asked me would I, develop a resource, a quick resource for them, because they were really struggling and were about to give up on their marketing and their branding. And I was like, don't give up. Don't give up. Sure, I'll create something. And as I started kind of mapping it out and kind of outlining what it looked like, I was like, there's way too much information. There's too many things that people need to know. And then it was crazy because it was kind of like serendipitous, because people kept coming to me saying, I need help. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to write a book.
Right. Just like that.
I think I'm going to do it.
Unbelievable.
When it comes out, it's all yours.
Unbelievable. And so so is this book truly for somebody? Because what you just said is what a lot of entrepreneurs and even solopreneurs that we're never going to have a big team, but the budget is always a big piece. But working with somebody like you is what people need to build a brand. So is this book for you, in your mind, a great way to forge ahead? This is like a roadmap to get started.
It is. So it's a guideline, it's a roadmap, it's a resource. It's literally like your step-by-step guide. It starts from you have to start with getting your mind right, and that's with anything. And a lot of people don't even know what that means, to get your mind right. So I wanted to just clarify things that you need to know ahead of time before you even start to think about strategy, before you even start to think about actually how you're going to advertise yourself and how you're going to network. You have to mentally get your mind right. And what does that mean, right? Mm-hmm. So we started there and kind of walked through everything from chapter 1 is how consumers think, the things that you need to know about people, and then going through step by step, what is a strategy? What's the difference between marketing and branding, right? Because a lot of people don't know that. And you can't just you don't just have a brand. You have to market that brand, and they're team players. They're on the same team,
right?
And so it's kind of well, how do they work together for the larger plan and for the greater good?
Right. And so, so is the name Crave? Is it to build something that people crave to want to be part of, or to at least be loyal to?
Well, so you can take it a number of ways, right? So when you think about the word crave, you typically think about food, right? And people crave food, and it's oh, I want that piece of cake, or oh, I want, that ice cream or that cookie or whatever. But the same way that food can be craved, brands can be craved. Right. And it means something different to everyone, of course. But it's pretty much all right, well, I want a brand that I can sustain. I want a brand that people actually support and don't feel obligated to support, but look forward to support, right? It's I want to build a brand that people trust. I want to build a credible brand. I want to build a brand that people come to and seek out and, benefit from. And
Right.
so this walks you through whatever that looks like to you, how to apply the principles of marketing to your situation.
And now, if you have somebody that ever comes to you, because a lot of the times, a lot of the women are, myself included, we started with very young kids, and as our kids have gotten older, our brand is our story to share, our story to tell. What would you say to somebody that came to you, like, Keli, how smart would it be to rebrand after I've been doing something for 5, 6, or 10 years? Is that crazy to do?
So it depends, right? So a lot of times brands do need a rebrand or a refresh, right? And if you are a solopreneur, or if you're smaller in your venture, or if haven't really had the time to dedicate to it because life, life happens and things happen, it's okay to do a rebrand. Sure. I mean, I think, doing a rebrand will give you something to talk about, will give you something to kind of, sometimes you have to pivot, right? And change things up depending on your situation. So it's funny that you would say telling your brand story, because there's actually 2 chapters in my book dedicated to how to tell your brand story. It's right. So everybody's story is different, and people like to take out those not so pleasant parts, or the things that kind of transitions your mind to think this, or why you're doing this, right? And that's the stuff that actually matters.
Right.
People listen to stories, and so it kind of walks you through how to tell stories and why they matter, and understanding how to take your personal situation and really frame it as a tool for marketing.
Oh, I love that. And there were three words that you had put when I was reading about you last night that I really wanted to talk to you about. It was stop, listen, and engage. And and when you string those words together, they're powerful words. Like,
thank you. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing, like truly, like the stop, listen, engage? What is that about? What would that be for?
Right. So number one is people are so busy and social media is everywhere and it moves so fast. People don't stop. We just scroll, right? We just scroll. Like we double tap and we scroll, right? We don't click. We don't stop. We don't really read. If it's a cute picture, we may read, but we don't actually stop.
Yes.
So what does it take to get, because first, before you can do anything else, people actually have to stop and realize your content, right? So getting people, like, what does it take to get people to stop, right? And then listen, because if you're talking and no one's listening to you, then what you're saying is not being received, right? So you want people to hear you, you want people to, feel you and be connected to you. And so how do people connect with you, right? And then the third thing is engage. So a lot of people have brands that they're doing things for their brands, but people are not actually engaging with them. And one of the things that I said earlier was that you don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to have 100,000 followers. But if you have 100, you need to be engaging all 100 of those people, or at least like 70, right?
Right.
100. But what does it take to actually be engaging? What does that look like? What does that mean? Are people talking to you? Are they commenting on you? Are they interacting with you? How to make that happen?
I love that. You're so right, because in this day and age, people aren't stopping. They literally are scrolling or swiping, and it's not. And it's such a, when you just said that, it's like, right. How can you stop to make? You want someone to stop, so what would make somebody stop? So, and I think so, so many people just toss stuff out there, not thinking about that. So I'm telling you, those 3 words, I wrote them. I have a little notebook by my bed, and I wrote them down: stop, listen, engage. Because I thought, that is the essence of what everybody would love, but people try to get, and you just summed it up in those 3 words. So I loved that.
Yeah. I mean, I think anyone can do it. So seriously, anyone with any skill set, with any interest, with any goal, you can do it. It doesn't matter what your story is. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. You can build a brand. You can build a game-changing successful.
I love that. And one other thing which I thought was great, because this is the whole reason why we wanted to start this podcast and really the Permission to Hustle community, was because we have a passion as well for we want to help women. And I love that, for you, it's a passion to help women and minorities for, really succeed and find that path to success. Has that always been your passion from the very beginning?
Always. So in my career, I've been alone a lot in the room, all the time, the whole time, because I moved up the the kind of corporate ranks pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was alone in my room a lot of times. I wasn't always the only woman, but I was definitely always the only Black woman in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
That aside, there were times when it was all men in a room and I was the only woman, and it's like you you feel really intimidated.
Yeah.
When I worked on Wall Street, I was really the only woman. Like it was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So you have to kind of step up,
Yeah.
like show yourself and prove that you are competent and you're capable and you're worthy of being there. And I've talked to a lot of women and a lot of minorities throughout the years, and they're just like, I don't know how you do it. I'm so intimidated.
Yeah.
And it's like helping women build that confidence, helping you, kind of stand in your light
Right.
and really feel secure in who you are is really important to me. A lot of times if you struggle with being who you are and feeling comfortable in who you are, you don't take the step that you need, the next steps that you need to get you to where you're trying to go.
Right.
So it's like helping empower people is really important.
I love that. I love you said standing in the light. Like like, cause it's true. Before we hopped on, Kelly and I were just, talking about women, helping women. And like Kelly said, it's empowering. And it really, it's amazing to chat with other women who truly have that passion. And it's remarkable. I can't imagine how intimidating it must be. I never worked in corporate America. So I don't like in that like very male driven world either, but I can't imagine, like, how do you find the confidence to get over the intimidation? Is it something that you just have to dig deep and find, or?
Dig really deep. And the thing is, like, I said this, I was recently interviewed by, I was interviewed in one of these like blog posts to kind of talk about like what helps me. So the first thing I'll say is there's a book called Presence by Amy Cuddy.
Okay.
Read it, check it out. It's amazing. It's amazing. She's a great author.
I'm writing it down now. Presence.
Presence. I usually have it around. I have all these books around. But so start with that book. For me though, it's kind of like you just have to practice and prepare and read, right? And so for me, it's like if I don't feel like too comfortable, I'm still gonna show up, and I might just be a little quiet, and I'll listen and I'll learn and I'll hear you guys talk. And even still, like as I got added to different lists, and I've been included and inducted into different groups recently, and I still feel like out of place sometimes, and I'm like,
wow.
And people look at me because I'm a millennial and they don't always trust millennials. And it's like, oh, you have to be older. And it's like, hi. Like, you know what I mean? So there's all of these different things that kind of compete. And so for me, I just reading Presence and then standing in the knowledge that I have,
right,
skills that I know that I'm good at, and the things that I've built, and really believing in yourself.
right.
Affirmation, just different things to help you start to affirm the things that you want for yourself.
And because that's a great point, being a millennial entrepreneur. I mean, is that one of the biggest struggles is being taken seriously because you didn't pay your dues for 35 years? Would you say that is one of the biggest struggles?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, at this point, I've grown kind of used to it because it's been happening forever.
Right.
Like I said, I moved up the ranks very quickly in corporate America and in organizations that I worked with as well. And so
yeah.
Right. I would travel all around the world, kind of leading sessions and going and doing different things. Like I led global growth initiatives for top corporations and stuff like that. And everybody would always look at me like, who is this child? Come here.
I can't get over that. Oh my goodness.
And so it's like I just had to so I practice, right? I practice all the time. I'm just like, okay, what are you gonna say? How are you gonna say it? You know what I mean? And it's like, because and even now I'm a government contractor and I go into government meetings and they look at me like, who are you? Like you're not old enough. And I'm just like, well, how I have a great dermatologist. Like, what are you?
You're like, I could be operating on you. Like come on. Yeah.
And so luckily, the more that my brand has kind of done its thing and taken shape, and the more sessions I lead, the more I talk, people really do. Like it doesn't take long for people to trust. You know what I mean?
You're a magnet. I mean, even just in the short amount of time you and I have been speaking, you really are. You have a spirit. You're a magnet.
Oh,
You can tell that you're a people person. You draw people in.
Thank you.
You can tell that immediately about you. So
yeah, and so that helps. That helps too.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a gift, truly. So
thank you.
what are you hoping that someone that picks up your book? What are you hoping at the very least they leave your book feeling or knowing or taking away from it?
I want people, women, men, millennial, any generation, if you're a baby boomer, if you're a Generation X, Generation Y, wherever you fall in the spectrum, number one, it's never too late. Never too late, ever, right? To decide to take ownership of your personal freedom, to take, and transform something that you're really passionate about or something that you feel is a gift into something that you can profit from or something that you can get opportunities from. Mm-hmm. You can, build your personal brand. You can build a business brand. You can build both. You can build them separately. You can do whatever you want. And it really is all about positioning, how you frame yourself, how you market yourself, who you talk to, and getting that kind of, mental mindset from the inception that you can be and become whoever you want to be.
So you really are a big believer that, you can make your passion profitable.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think now we're in the age of personal brands really becoming so sought after, right? So it's like, there was a time when people were like, well, a personal brand, what is that? It's like, no, it's you, the person.
Yeah.
It's who you are. It's your skill set. It's your knowledge base. It's the things that you are interested in that people care about.
Right.
There's another great book, which a lot of people have probably heard of, but it's by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. Mm-hmm. Right? So most people know that book. Simon Sinek is, I love him.
People love him. Yes.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's literally gold. So, but I'm like the girl version of him.
You really are.
Thank you. So, so check out that book. And, I believe in reading. You'll catch me at a bookstore all the time. Mm-hmm. There's always new resources, and they all present information in a different way.
Yeah.
So it's like just kind of collecting that knowledge and just building your own personal repository of information.
Right.
Is really, really going to benefit.
I love it. Well, I'll tell you, Keli, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to chat with me, talking about your book. And when do you know the exact day that it's coming out that everybody can go buy it?
Yes, it comes out April 9th, which is a Tuesday.
That's April a good 9th. Day.
It's a good day. It's a good day. I'm very excited. And I did this book for everyone that is struggling to kind of find their space and, figure things out. This will walk you through everything. So
I love it. And again, for everybody out there, the book is amazing. Craved is the secret sauce, is building, the secret sauce to building a highly successful standout brand, which, I think that it's a dream that we all want to create, is that standout brand. So I can't wait to get this book on April 9th. Please make sure you guys check it out. Like you said, just the last few pages too, that you could genuinely use as your guide, as your roadmap, to get what you want in life, which I love that that's what you want people to do, find your passion, make it profitable.
Make your passion profitable, make it work for you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You are, Jen, I don't want to have this be the last time I ever talk to you, because I really, of course not. I want to talk to you about more things, but this was awesome for you to hop on. Thank you so much. And then also,
pleasure.
I'm going to put your links to everything too, so people can find you.
Yeah, I'm starting some workshops that are going to be, they're starting in DC and then going to New York, and then they're expanding worldwide and hopefully, not even hopefully, globally. So it's coming. Things are really happening and taking shape. So I'd love to meet all of you guys and look forward to kind of what 2019 and beyond brings.
I love it. And like I told you when we first got on, Keli's the real deal. So I'm thrilled to have been able to chat with you for a bit. And again, I'll put all the information so we can find you. And thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Of
course. Thank you. It was great chatting with you.
Great.
Have a good rest of your day.
Absolutely. You too.